Hello, what's going on? Sorry, we got a little late start. What's going on? Yeah, we are back. Yes, they play the old ones until they go live. Hello, everybody. What's going on? Did you have a nice Thanksgiving? Everybody? It's been a while since I've seen you, and I missed you. I missed you, everybody. Hello. So, man, we only have 9 viewers. Everyone's like, what happened? I don't care about BlueCat anymore. So very good, everybody. Hello. I'm Gordy. If you don't know who I am, I run BlueCat. I am the judge of BlueCat and the founder and basically the supreme, well, I'm not the supreme leader. Emily is the supreme leader. She's the supreme leader. I know they're so long. We just had to recover after the deadline, and then we got into Sundance, and then we had Thanksgiving, which is in America a very bizarre holiday. But we had Thanksgiving, and then we came back, and we were always like, let's have a Ustream right after we can announce, because we knew like 3 weeks before Sundance announced it publicly last week on Tuesday, we knew that we wanted to wait because we thought that would be a good Ustream to have, would be to have us talk about. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. I'm seeing those, and it's very fun for us. So I thought this would be a great Ustream for people to ask me questions about my experience making the short film, starting off with the Kickstarter and all the steps along the way, and I can talk about the story of that. We also have the woman who's the star of the movie. We'll probably put the link of the trailer up. If you haven't seen the trailer, it's only like 90 seconds or so. But we'll put that up there, and people can watch that if you haven't seen the trailer. Do you guys remember Century? Do you remember Century? She's back there eating her dinner. See, she'll be joining us. She just started working as a Warner Brothers tour guide. So if you have any questions about Warner Brothers or the studio, maybe she can give us some factoids about things that she's learned about Warner Brothers and stuff, because she's like becoming an expert on that studio. So she's going to probably give us a little bit of love there with the Warner Brothers vibe. So, okay, so, yeah, so we'll be talking about, and then, of course, I got into Sundance, which is, if you want to ask questions about the process or what happened with that and how it happened, I can talk to you about that, too. So any filmmakers, writers, I've gone there now as a writer of Love Liza, and now I'm there as a director and a writer with Dog Bowl, and I brought a couple of, how I am with the show and tell. I wanted to bring, I did win an additional Invisible Jet, a Wonder Woman Invisible Jet. I won a second one, and there's actually another one on eBay that I think I might start chasing because it's a little, the bid is a little low, so we'll see what happens with that. I'm not sure. But I do have another very interesting thing that I won on eBay that is not a comic book. I know we've got some comic books fans, and everyone loves, or hates when I show them my comic books. But look at all those great pictures of Marcy up there. Well, she's got the dog bowl picture, and that looks like Marcy. Is that Marcy right there? The third one over.
Yeah.
That's Marcy. Oh, that's different. That's when she was in Kentucky as a thespian, before she came and sold her soul in Hollywood. And you won or got ripped off? No, I didn't get ripped off. I actually got a really cool thing. It's not a comic book thing. I have all my comic books. I got so many packages because I was so nervous about Sundance that I was bidding on everything. I kind of went crazy, and they're all in my house. So I'm slowly opening them, and And thank you for all your congratulations. You guys are very sweet. I have a bag of air to sell you. I know. There's no plane in there. I know we went over this before. I bought a second one. I really look. They're jets, and I want a fleet. Okay, I want a fleet of jets. I don't want to. I don't want to just have 2 jets. Okay, who has 2 jets? You know, Luxembourg has 2 jets. Okay, it's like the country of Gordo is gonna have more than 2 jets. I mean, it's just right. I mean, Century, really. How many jets do you think the country of Gordo would have?
1 million.
Yeah, at least. Close to 1 million. But that's completely unreasonable. So I'm probably only going to buy 30 invisible jets off of eBay. Because I'm not crazy. I'm not going to get 1 million. I mean, come on. Century. So we are... Yeah, I got a second one. I'm always scoping out the invisible jets. We're going to take an invisible jet. Oh my God, I have to have somebody go down to my car and get the rice out of the back seat of my car or in my car. You, Century, you're going to have to go and do that. Not now.
Oh.
But when you're done eating, you can go in. I have a great story about when I got the call from Sundance. So we've got the rice story. That's an incredible story. You guys will love it. You guys are going to... All the Ustreamers are going to get some really cool inside stuff tonight. So, which is fun because, you know, and then we'll come back in January and we'll do, maybe we'll do a Ustream from Sundance, live from Sundance. That would be kind of fun. We should do that. Maybe we'll do, like sort of a late night one or something like that. But that would be fun. We don't want to wait that long. Maybe we'll do one in January. I'd love to bring the editor in and a couple other people that are involved with Dogwool. And yeah, and just BlueCat news. We are almost done reading all your scripts. And well, we're not done not like 2 days, but we're going to be done fairly soon. And Shanghai Redford into an interview. I know that would be, it'd be kind of cool to be at Sundance and find, like, maybe grab a filmmaker or two that, like, maybe short, you know, just ask them. I bet there would be some people there we could be like, hey, come on, and do the Ustream and do like a quick 2-hour interview Ustream thing. That would be cool. So that we'll have to, maybe we'll write that down and remember that. I'm not sure if we would. So yeah, so BlueCat, we're almost done. I think we have about 200 features left to read, or to send out to our readers that we haven't sent out to our readers. We're projecting to have our scripts all read by early January, which will give us some time to. So all your feedback, I imagine all the feedback is going to be back by the middle of January. So if you entered like on November 15th. Like, and you haven't gotten your feedback, I think it's gonna. I don't know if you're gonna have to wait all the way to February 1st. So, we've got a pretty solid machine in here, and I think a part of it is that we're not reading them twice by 2 different readers this year, so it's making things a little bit, which is nice. I think again, it really helps. It's helped us with, I think, with our, you know, us adjudicating the best competition we have of the submissions that are coming in. I think it's, again, more evidence that it was actually smart to go to 1 reader again across the board, so that when we expand eventually to television scripts, you know, it'll be even more more reasonable and more feasible to have that. So it was a nice update to hear from the reader coordinator how we're moving along with our scripts. And February 1st is when is our deadline for all the feedback will be back. And then February 15th is, yes, when's the first round of screenplays advance announced? February 15th. February 15th, we named the top 10%. And yes, we did. We had an increase, right? Like, I think the increase of features was about 6 or 5% from last year. And basically around all of them. I think shorts maybe went up like 2 or 3% or 1%. Shorts didn't go up as much because we opened shorts you know, if you're a close watcher of BlueCat, which I'm sure if you know this information, you know, you're pretty close. But we opened the shorts like a month earlier last year. So the submission period for shorts was like 6.5 months the first year, and we started in like late April, I think, promoting that and letting the people submit. This year we pushed it. We made the submission period officially shorter. So the shorts only increased a little bit. Features increased a nice number. Probably it'll end up being like 200 or 300 more features came in. So that was nice. So we definitely went up. And so the number's probably going to be about 4,300 features and about 1,700 shorts. 1,700. I'm not sure where we're standing right now. But that will be, that's going to happen. We're going to have all the final numbers when we, you know, probably around February 1st when we cut off the thing. But February 15th is when we announce top 10%. And then quarterfinalists are named, I think, March 15th or 1st, or I don't know what it is. It's like we change it every year. February 15th is when top 10%. And then I think it might be a month that we go to quarter. No, we don't. I don't know. We go to quarterfinalists, semifinalists, and then the first week of April that's sort of our winners week. We name all the winners. I'll quickly just look that up for you and kind of give you guys that information. Yeah. So let's see. We'll go over here and we'll go over it. It's really exciting. We've got we had a great pile. We had a great blast of scripts at the end, you know, like the deadline. We got a huge surge of scripts, as we always do, but it is, you know, this year it was really on November 15th we got a lot. So top 10% is announced on February 15th, and then the quarterfinalists are March 1st. And that usually, quarterfinalists is usually like roughly, approximately 5%. So we kind of get it down to about 5% of total submissions. We don't say that, but that's, you know, that's our sort of, we don't hold ourselves to that number, but that's where we sort of, like, we like to make the cut down and allow enough people. So if you're in quarterfinalists, you're roughly in the top 5%. Semifinalists is always like top 1%. So this year, there'll probably be between 40 and 60 semifinalists, I imagine. And then feature finalists, of course, are 5. There's 5. And those are, the shorts finalists are announced on April 4th. The feature finalists are announced on April 6th. The Joplin Awards on the 7th of April. Cordelia Awards on the 8th. And then shorts winners on the 9th. It all happens at the same time. We don't give a lot of, people aren't shorts finalists for very long. It's like 5 or 6 days, but that's just how it is. We try not to announce our winners on the days of deadlines. That's, if you're wondering why are the announcement dates on crooked number dates like the 6th and stuff like that. We do that because we don't want to like take thunder away from, because we know there's massive deadlines for you guys on April 1st and April 15th. There's tax day, but then there's also the like Nichols and I don't know who, but I know there's just a lot going on. Are you all done?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Emily just sent out a newsletter to everybody who letting them know that we're on live, because we always try and do that. Yeah, so that's why if you're wondering, if you're ever on a message board or somebody asks you, oh, he said on the Ustream, April 7th is the number, because we don't want to announce on April 1st or April, even though the other dates are always on those sort of regular numbers. So you guys can ask me if you're sitting there and you're watching or something and you have any questions about BlueCat, just because we're going to be talking a little bit about my experience making the film and getting it into Sundance. You can always at any time ask any screenwriting questions. You know what I did today? I went out to Victorville, which is about 90 miles from West Hollywood, where I live. Victorville is on the 15. It's in the high desert on the way to Vegas, between LA and Vegas. And I went out there and I met, it was a guy that took a workshop with me. He's a 6th grade teacher, and he asked me to go out and talk to his 6th graders about story, because they're developing like a story about, I'm off screen? I'm off screen, huh? Okay. Am I on screen now? It's all blacked out. Okay. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure why that's happening.
No.
Did you do something
is this
over there?
Connected?
Yeah, I don't know. Sure. Are we?
Okay.
Video went out. Okay. I'm not sure.
Is it working now?
I'm there. Back on now. Yeah. So you
Okay,
did something
okay.
over there.
Sorry.
Don't enable the Adobe, or I'm not sure what.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay, so we're like, okay, so I went up to Victorville to this 6th grade class, and it was very, very, I thought I was gonna, and I drive all the way up there, it's raining, I'm driving all the way up there, and I'm going, okay, I'm just gonna wing it, it's like an hour. Well, there was a guy, okay, I'll back up, because I know people were a little discombobulated. There's a guy who came to the Los Angeles workshop, a writer. He wrote a really great script about Hurricane Camille. Really, really cool script. So he took notes, and he was a great writer. But he contacted me and said, hey, will you come speak to my 6th grade class about story, right? And I was like, okay, sure. No, and I was like, because I just got into Sundance, I was like, you need to do stuff that's sort of a little bit more humbling. You can't be like, whatever, I'm not gonna. And it wasn't for money or anything. It was just for these kids. And I was like, there might be some great like kid, some girl or a boy who wants to make movies and write and stuff. And I thought you can go there and just sort of be weird and Gordo and do your deal or whatever. And so I drive all the way up there, right? And it's like way out there, Victorville, and I like pull off the road, and I'm driving through these streets, finding the school. I get to the school, and I walk in, the principal's there, and she's like, okay, let me walk you down to the classroom. And I walk in, the door opens, and it's like a sort of a large classroom, and the whole floor is covered with all these kids that are sitting there. It was 100 6th graders, okay? I walk in, 100. I walk in, and the teachers and the guys basically like, here he is, and all the kids are like, yay! They're all like freaking out when they see me, and I've just been in a car for an hour and a half, like I walked in, and I thought it was going to be like 20 kids, and it was going to be really like mellow, slow pace and everything. I walk in, and it's like they're all like, yeah, and they're all over the floor. I was like. I walked in and I looked at the teachers, and they're standing in the back, and he's like, here he is, here's Gordy Hoffman. And it was like, I was like, like, what am I supposed to say? It was like so weird. And I sort of was like, and I just started talking, and then I was like, so what do you guys look for in a story? And they had so many questions. They're like, well, you look for a plot twist, I mean, they had so many things. They were asking me the funniest questions. They were asking me all these questions. It was really amazing. I was so excited. I was like, really, and the hour just went by, and then they all had to go to lunch, and then some of them came back and were continuing. And they were like, what kind of car do you drive? and no, they had not seen Love Lives, and they were whining. They were like, can we see? These 2 really cute girls came up to me, and they were very serious, and they came up to me and said, one of them was like, have you written any movies that we've seen?
Oh.
And I go, no, because I only wrote like an adult movie. And literally they went, and they just turned and walked away. They were like, we're out of here. Like, you're not worth anything to us. It was so funny. The teachers knew that Phil was my brother, or Phil is my brother. but the kids didn't really. I don't think they got into it with the kids because they probably, those kids, somebody would have probably asked the question, but I don't think the teachers told them. The teachers didn't. They knew, but not the students. But the students, it made me really want to make a movie that kids could see. But I told them about when I made a movie when I was 12. I was their age. I was in 7th grade. It's not that good, but I saw it recently this year. My brother's actually in it, and so. Yeah, adult movie. I know, whatever that means, right? To us, that means something else. The kids, they sort of know that they can't see something, but they really wanted to see it. But they all want to see the movie that I made when I was 12. They were all like, you know, like they all want to see it. And you know, I'm telling you, these people. I asked them. I said, I think Love Liza was R-rated. It was R-rated. I mean, we could look out on the hallway, but I'm pretty sure it's R-rated. Because there's a little bit of nudity, I think, for a second in it or something, as I remember. I don't know. But I asked them, like, how many, you know, how many, well, that's what's changed. It was just like, yeah, you saw Shampoo when you were 8. Well, you know, that's why you're on a Ustream now with Gordy. I mean, you're just like, you know, you know. But man, I'm telling you, it's like these kids were. This one girl. I'm a woman. She's like the 6th grader. She was like, well, it's important to have a theme because some movies are like Dune, and then some movies are like Labyrinth. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, it was like crazy, and and I was like, so, but I said, who's made movies, right? I asked them who made movies, and they're like, how many have you made? And somebody was like, I made 5, I've made 4, I've made 3. I mean, are you kidding me? You saw Goodfellas when you were 11? That's awesome. That's so funny. I mean, you know, kids are just, nowadays it's like they're all growing up watching Walking Dead. Right? I mean, they're all seeing Walking Dead, and it's like, so how could they not have nightmares? I mean, it's like...
Yeah, I think they're kind of numb to the like, violence and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we'll get a little Century action. There's Century. She's... Marcy's supposed to hide. She's not supposed to be actually on camera. Why don't you move over so that we don't, you know...
not supposed to see.
There's our Daryl Strawberry. Heather was very concerned about our background, so we put the Daryl Strawberry. Of course, it doesn't really mean anything. So I asked them about the films, and you know, and at one point the kids were like, they were asking it. They'd be like, this one girl goes, "I know that this isn't probably relatable, but how old are you?" It was so funny. I was like, I'm 50, and they were like, 50? You don't look 50. They're like, you look 35. It was so funny. They were like, you look younger. You know, they were all like, it was funny. But the girl was like, how old are you?
I love kids. They're so fun.
I know, it was just funny. There was like, did you make Philip audition for Love Liza? Phil did not audition for Love Liza. Phil had not shot Boogie Nights when he read Love Liza and said he wanted to do it. He hadn't shot Boogie Nights yet. So that's how far back in his career. A lot of people, the timeline, they think, oh, but we were both like, he was already making money and he had a much better career than I had by a million miles at that time. But he was very much at the beginning of his career. He had not shot Boogie Nights. That fall, he shot Boogie Nights. And Michelle Satter, who runs the feature film program at Sundance, it was one of the founders who started it, and it's the development program that screenwriters submit their movies to. She worked with Paul Thomas Anderson on Hard 8, which was his first feature. He had a short that went Cigarettes and Coffee, or somebody knows what it is, but Paul Thomas Anderson's short, he had it. It's one of the shorts. You know, there's only so many directors at Sundance that have had big directors, like Wes Anderson had Bottle Rocket there, but they didn't accept his feature. But Paul Thomas Anderson developed Hard 8 at the lab in the 90s, and so he knew Michelle Satter and Coffee and Cigarettes. he knew Michelle Satter, and he referred Love Liza in fall of 1996, 18 years ago, to Michelle Satter, and Michelle Satter called me on the phone, and I wasn't even living in LA yet. I was in New York at the time, and she called me on the phone, and I had an interview with her, and she talked to me about the script, and it ultimately did not get in the program, but it ended up getting made, and it went to Sundance. It did very well, and Sony bought it for distribution. And I was just at the Sundance opening kickoff reception last Wednesday with all the filmmakers, and I walked up and had a lovely conversation with Michelle Satter. I've known her for 18 years, and I was able to go up and talk to her about BlueCat, because Michelle, we don't publicize this. This is another like Ustream little, thingamajob. Michelle Satter, BlueCat refers scripts to Michelle Satter at Sundance. We don't put that on our website. And she actually said to me, she goes, "You got to make sure to tell me when you're open for submission so we can announce it." But yeah, so there's been a few different scripts that fit Sundance over. It's just the last few years. I send her stuff, and she goes back. Not the short. There's no short lab with Sundance. They do a feature lab. So they just started doing television too. They started just submitting just doing episodic. They call it episodic story. But Michelle Satter was at the reception on Wednesday. It was really crazy after all that time to be like, wow, I've known that woman for 18 years, and she's still running the program for them, and she does everything. She handles all the development and all that stuff. So she's the one that sort of is the, but she developed, so many projects. Tarantino, Paul Thomas Anderson. People forget that those guys, when they were very young, came through Sundance, and Reservoir Dogs was in the midnight program at Sundance, and it was an historic night in Sundance. Everybody was like, it was historic, it was historic when Reservoir Dogs, the midnight screening of Reservoir Dogs at Sundance, it blew everybody away, and everybody says, a lot of, it's one of those things like, I was in the building when Reservoir Dogs played at Sundance. Of course, I was not, but that Sundance has been very, very important to the Sundance Feature Lab, and then the film festival, of course, has discovered, Soderbergh and many others. Chris Nolan with Memento was there, and really, really made a big splash, and so a lot of big people forget how prestigious Sundance is. So if you have a lot of questions, that's fine. That's what we're here for. So we'll totally answer that. So I'm just totally rambling. You got this. Let's talk about Dog Bowl. So we are going to. What we're going to do is we're going to go until 8 o'clock, and we'll take a 10-minute break at 8, and we'll take a 10-minute break at 9. We're going to go till 10 o'clock, and that's LA time. I know you guys. Let me know where you guys are. Tell me quickly where you guys are. Type in your little location so I know where you guys are. As I drink my Diet Sunkist. The BlueCat competition opens up June. I think it's June 1st or 15th. I don't know if we've decided. It might be the 15th this year. I think it's the 15th. I mean, first? I don't know. Okay, Australia. Very good. You're just waking up? No, it's the midday in Australia. Midday in Australia. Italy, you are early morning. And it's good to see you. I'm glad you're up. And Denver. Love my people in Denver. I was just in Denver. Had a couple workshops in Denver. I'll probably go back to Pittsburgh this year. I'll be in Austin. I'll be in Pittsburgh this year. I'm gonna 1 o'clock in Australia. Girls in Houston are amazing. Why? Well, I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm sure they're amazing all over Texas, but it's good information, I guess. I always teach in Austin because it's right near where everybody from Dallas, and it just works out. I'd love to teach in San Antonio just because I never have, but I'll probably go to Austin in March this year. South by Southwest is in March, and we're hoping that Dog Bowl gets in. You know, what's really great about Dog Bowl is it's gotten all these festivals are already emailing me. You know, I'm not going to say who they are, but they're emailing, hey, can you send me a link? I saw you got into Sundance. I just had a manager, a guy, I think he manages directors or something. He just emailed me yesterday from some company in town, and he was Sundance takes all the shorts and they sends them out to managers already. Yeah, I had some guy who watched it already, and he was like, "I watched your movie, it's great. I work at da company, pretty decent company." He's like, "Can we meet before the holidays?" He's like trying to, jump on the Gordo, like we're like quick, I guess. But I'm the girl from Houston. We're connected on LI. What's that? What's LI? What is LI?
LinkedIn.
Oh, on LinkedIn. Okay, very good. Do you come down to the South, like in Alabama? What if someone posted like a Sony link? What's that? What would they post? Yeah, we can talk about the Denver. There's so many things. The Denver airport is totally weird. I've been in that a million times. So, I know it's tough. Hopefully, nobody will leak Dog Bowl to. So what we're. I know you guys are asking some questions, and Century's going to go through the chat and just start saving the things, and then she's going to start remembering to. I got to pull out my laptop so she can email them to me. Going back to the South. Okay, so next summer I'm going to be teaching in Atlanta, and right around it's Century as in 100. I wanted to clarify that. So I wanted to teach in Alabama, and I have never booked there, but I wanted to teach something in Alabama. So we're now putting together the schedule for next year. I know I'm teaching in Atlanta, like maybe the weekend before the 4th of July weekend. Okay, probably that Sunday or Saturday. I'm not sure. I have to look at what it is. I also have space in Jacksonville, and I think I'm going to do like sort of an introductory thing. But I do want to do. There's somebody in Nashville that wants me to come back. They actually emailed me today, and so I want to do sort of a southern tour where I do like 4 hour. I would do like a 4-hour workshop. And what would be good? Birmingham. Birmingham is a place to go. What would be a good place in Alabama, Mickey, to go? So we'll definitely. Yeah, I've been in Atlanta. I just haven't been. I didn't go last year. So it's been a while, but I've taught in Atlanta probably 4 or 5 times because there's a lot of people there, and there's always people that want me to come there. So, so it'll be really fun. So Century's going to write down something. I know you have some of these questions you're asking. And if you want to ask anything about Sundance, anything about submitting to Sundance, anything about Kickstarter, because Huntsville. You think Huntsville's it's fairly close to Nashville. I could go down to Huntsville and do it. I'm teaching at UCLA. I'm still at the UCLA professional program. I teach an online workshop with them, an online class on Thursday nights from 6 to 9 Pacific Standard. I have 2 people. It's all around the world, though. I have 2 people. We're on break. We just had our last class last week, and we're going to be on break until January 8th. So we'll resume then, but I'm still at UCLA. Yeah, and it's great. UCLA is great. And Dog Bowl is 19 minutes long with where's Nas? Where are you? 500 people. Where's that? You're in Atlanta. Yeah. I always have a good turnout in Atlanta. I just haven't been there. It'll be the weekend before the 4th of July, and we'll have. We're gonna set all that. We're right in the process of doing that. It's tough with all the Sundance stuff. We just announced a couple new online workshops. We're gonna lay out the LA schedule, San Francisco and stuff. But we have to, we're things. So yeah. So you Kickstarter is very tricky. But I found I didn't really spend a lot of time doing research, but I sort of noticed that you have to have a lot of creative rewards that people want. Like you want to think about, like, what would people. I think a lot of people think that, oh, this is good, but then they don't think about it like, well, would you want to get that? It's like it's some junky thing, like, oh, $50 for like a poster or something, and or whatever. It's just like, would you actually spend $50 on it? And you have to make things something that people would like. And I think that I was able to come up with enough things that people liked. I was also older. I think that I had a lot more people I'd known over the years, and I saw it did help that I had like a larger I had a nice network of people. But all of my Kickstarter, I had 2 Kickstarters, and both of them were very successful, and most of the Kickstarters were not. It wasn't like I had my brother or somebody come in and give like a whole bunch of money. I mean, my brother donated to the first Kickstarter, and but everything came from everybody that I've ever known. It wasn't kind of a thing where. But it allowed. I had really funny. Like, I had a reward where you donated $25 and you got a text message from me every day of my shoot of the biggest mistake that I made. And everybody loved that. They just thought it was funny. They wanted to get a funny text from me, like how I screwed up or something. And of course people wanted, like, they wanted the T-shirt. We have Dog Bowl T-shirts that we just announced, actually. If you guys want, I'll show you the Dog Bowl T-shirt. So here's the Dog Bowl T-shirt. It's kind of cool. Like, check it out. See the dog is like saying Dog Bowl, and then she's like Dog Bowl, and then the other dog's like, yes. See? It's cool. It's a very nice shirt. It was made by the like an artist. Yeah, it's a very, very. Her name is Kim Tucker, and she. If you go on our original Kickstarter, you'll see her artwork. She's a very, very. Yeah, well, we have them on sale. We can. Why don't you post the Dog Bowl? It's called dogbowlthemovie.com.
Okay.
Maybe we'll just put the link on there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and we'll put the link on there. They're pretty. We printed up. Those were the ones that we made for our Kickstarter people. We have gray ones that we just ordered that are like these limited edition. They're like, we made a certain. We're going to change the color so that people know that they got them for Sundance. We have Dog Bowl T-shirts and hoodies. So if you want one of those, we'll send you the link. They're pretty affordable, $25 post-paid. So we'll send it to you, $25. You get the shirt, and we'll just mail it to you. And then we have a hoodie too, so you can look at those if you want to support. We do need some support. We're for some things left that we don't have money for, getting ready for Sundance. So yeah. Okay, so try again. That link says censored. Okay. How do we do? I'm not sure. I think, okay, it's Dog Bowl. Here, I can type it out. It's Dog Bowl the movie, and then .com. So not .com. .com. Yeah. So there you go. There you go, guys. That's the website. If you go there, there's a merchandise link. And, we really appreciate it. We have about 80 T-shirts that we printed up. And I look forward to seeing you in Atlanta. Ask away any questions you have. Anything you have you want to Century's going to write down all the questions, and then she's going to start emailing them to me. Do we remember our system, or are we just totally...
No. Do you want me to email them to you now?
No, you can do it whenever, honey.
Okay.
We're all good. It's good to see you.
Got this. It's good to see you too.
We're just fucking rolling. I haven't seen Century since before Thanksgiving. What did you get for Thanksgiving, Century?
What did I get?
Yeah.
Like,
it's not Christmas. It's
I got some turkey.
You got some turkey. What did you do? Where'd you go?
Yeah, I was in the Bay Area for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you went up there. How was it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Did you think about BlueCat when you were gone?
Of course I did.
You were sort of bummed. You were like, "Where's BlueCat?" Did you stare at our website and just be like, "Remember that?"
And like the time clock, and it was like at 0. And
yeah,
so sad.
It was so you were so sad that the deadline. She got some good food. Yes. The link didn't show up that you type. Well, does everybody understand where it is? Yeah, it's if you go on that site, there's a merchandise link. I don't know how we can get that. If you go on the site, if you go on the site dogbowlthemovie.com, and then just post your questions. And no, you can't put the link because it comes up censored. You can't put an actual link. Yeah, you ask the question. Just ask your question, and Century will she copies and pastes them, and then she sends them to me, and then we'll get on it. Yeah. So the site is dog. I'll type it again. Dog Bowl. With no spaces, obviously, right? It's just dogbowlthemovie.com. And then you go there, and it has merchandise, and then you can like do it and use PayPal and I think somebody else is putting. Yeah, you don't put a space.
You can
it's
write
all.
on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Is the link just not showing up at all?
No, it doesn't show up.
Okay.
We shot it on an Ari Alexa.
I see.
Yeah, it doesn't show up at all. There you go. Thank you so much, 811. We shot it on an Ari Alexa, which was we had our the camera was Ari Alexa, and the DP was Chris Kachikas. I wish we could post links. It's so annoying because I would love to Kachikas. If you want to go to our .com. I don't know why I keep doing that. Kachikas.com. I don't know if it's Chris Kachikas, but I think it's Kachikas. That's our DP. He was just in Puerto Rico shooting the Victoria's Secret, a new Victoria's Secret.
What?
Yeah, the
new
new
catalog or
the new Victoria's Secret commercial.
Oh, commercial.
He actually shoots commercials for Victoria's Secret. Nice. So Kachikas.com. Well, great. I'm glad you won that. So that's where our DP, and he shot a very professional, high-end commercial director of photography, and he ended up just crushing it, and it was so great. So we had a great shoot, and he was amazing. So ask away, and we will the trailer. If you go to Dog Bowl the movie, there's like pictures and all sorts of stills from the movie and all sorts of things. So we're still working on our website. This is interesting. Okay. So Century's putting your questions together, and the trailer was made. The trailer was made, and we kept the same trailer because we just were like, whatever. We don't want to remake the trailer, even though it's very homemade. It was made by with the raw footage, and it's not cleaned up, the sound or any of that. And I went through the raw footage, and because the digital tech, that guy who had all the footage, I went through all the footage. I wrote down my selects of what I think could be in a trailer, and I put the order together, and he went and pulled it out. We never even sat in the same room. He went and pulled it all out and ordered it. And then I was like, I said, why don't we put some rain and thunder underneath? Because I like to write to the rain and thunder on YouTube. That's another weird thing. But I like to listen to it, so I put it underneath. He found this stuff, and if you listen to the trailer, it's got these pops and stuff. It looks terrible. It sounds terrible. You can hear how like rough that we grabbed the rain and the thunder off the internet and just slapped it underneath. So because we wanted to make a trailer for Kickstarter so that we could actually, we were asking for a lot of money to finish the movie because we needed money to pay off about $10,000 of debt from the production. And then we had about $10,000 worth of a post, and we're still like probably $2,000 short of where we need to be. So that's why we made the T-shirts. But yeah, it was. But we love. Well, I like the trailer. Everybody liked the trailer. It's cool. It's definitely dogbowl. It's guerrilla. You know, we didn't go back and make like some finished trailer with all color correction and sound correct and everything. Because it's part of our story is that we made the trailer. It was a very homemade kind of trailer, and we made it because we were for the purposes of the Kickstarter. So, but we still use it, and people still get a lot of the spirit and the mystery of what Dog Bowl is about. So, the lead actress is cute. She's cute. She's gorgeous, isn't she? She's so striking. I wonder if she's going to be on the Ustream later. But I don't know if you guys know that. I know you're all, you're obsessed with me, but we do have the actress from, you're going to be able to ask questions with Marcy Miller, the woman who is the star of Dog Bowl, and she will ask all your questions, and I thought it would be really cool. What's her sign? I don't know. Her sign is yield. No, what I thought would be really cool is that as writers, you could ask an actress like what she looks for when it's going to be Miller time very soon, and what she looks for in a script, and how when she reads a script, what are her red flags, and what does she look for as an actress? A lot of writers don't think about that. They don't think that they're writing for actors. You forget. You're like, I'm so consumed with story, and it's such a nice a tool for writers to think like, would an actor want to play this part, and would this be a cool part for an actor to play? And you don't have to be an actor to sort of know that it's a good thing,
Right. Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
To have that in mind. Well, just like, I guess a lot of writers. Maybe this would be a question for you. Did you have actors in mind when you wrote?
I didn't have actors in mind when I wrote Dog Bowl. Actor bait, exactly. I mean, so you've got all these questions. There's more questions. Did you hire a casting director? They're just like going on. So
don't worry.
You got it. Okay, you're gonna jam me an email. We're gonna get. Well, you could probably send me an email now, because we're gonna go all the way up until the hour, and then we're gonna take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back with Marcy Miller, so I can answer some of the questions. But it's very, very. A lot of people do write. It's not about writing with a person in mind, but developing a character that you feel is something that an actor would be attracted to play in terms of the different it helps give us dimension to the characters, because oftentimes I'll say, do you think an actress, like if you gave this to Emma Stone, do you think she would want to play this part? And then it's like so glaring how thin a part can be. Once you point out like, oh, this is not really, it's not really that. So, yes, I directed it and I wrote it. That was the big thing, is I realized I wanted to always direct my features eventually. And I thought, why you have to start now. You just have to start everything you do. You can't write for hire anymore. So I really don't like to do anything. I don't want to write for anybody else anymore. I just want to write and direct my own material. And that's where, when I made that decision, Dog Bowl started. And, yes, I want to direct like mad. I am going to direct like mad. When you see Dog Bowl, you'll be like, so we're going to try and get Dog Bowl in all over the world, all over the country, in all the cities, everywhere. So it has like festival distribution. So almost everybody will be close to a festival where they can go and see Dog Bowl. I want to because Sundance really acts as a springboard for that, and hopefully we'll be able to get into a lot of different places, and a lot of people that are interested in Dog Bowl and BlueCat writers and members of our community will be able to see it. All right, so Century, what do we got? Do we have any questions?
I just sent you some questions.
You did? You just sent me some questions? Well, in the meantime, so Century, you've been working at Warner Brothers. What's going on with that? What are you doing there?
I'm a tour guide at Warner Brothers.
She's a tour guide. Well, come on over and tell us about that.
All right.
No, I'm going to direct my own writing. I'm not going to direct other people's work. So what? So when you? So what did they do when they hired you in the interview? What was the key question?
Well,
do you like movies?
It was a long process.
It seems like dark.
Why.
Is it dark in here, you guys?
It's dark.
It's like I don't know why. Maybe it's just this
lighting
thing.
Up here.
Yeah, I know the dark. It's like really.
Yeah.
Is it dark, you guys? What's the biggest? Yes, I have a feature in. We're gonna. She's gonna. I'm gonna get after all these questions. Let's talk with Century for a second.
Okay.
So how did you get the job?
I applied actually before. Oh, okay.
Well, move closer because you
I applied before I started working here, actually.
Oh, really? That's
yes.
weird. So you were thinking like, I got to get out of here?
No, before
I got to get out of BlueCat.
before I got the job here. Right.
Oh, okay.
So I applied that long ago, and then I knew it was this job was ending, of course. So then it wouldn't be a problem timing wise. So I went in for the interview. We had a group assessment. And
what's that? That sounds like mental health thing.
It was like
they want to make sure you're crazy.
Of us. Yeah, pretty much. They wanted to see if we could work well in a group. There were 50 of us.
Yeah.
And we had to give a minute-long presentation of this is a soundstage, and kind of give as if we were presenting a soundstage. And
you must have been awesome at that.
And I guess because they hired me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they don't want any. They don't want any mentally defective people running around giving tour guides.
Oops.
You could just hey, what's up?
Yeah. Oh, there are some pretty interesting tour guides.
Well, we're gonna have Century tell us a lot about Warner Brothers. Some point we gotta but I feel like we've got so many questions.
Yeah, definitely.
So let me get into some of your questions, and then I'll try and direct. Yeah, it's great. I mean, Century just got out of college. She's from Northern California. She went to college, and everybody knows she went to college in Orange County, and now she's just rocking in Hollywood. So many people have been tour guides, or pages at Paramount, Warner Brothers tour guides, Sony tour guides.
Just start.
It's a great way to get into the industry and meet people and. Okay. All right, you got some questions here. I want to do a super low-budget feature. Do you think a short film version of it would be a better idea? I'd love to enter film festivals and use it to get money for a feature. Absolutely. Tried and true method. Bottle Rocket. The Whiplash. Whiplash was a script, and Jason Reitman told the director, to make a short based on the feature. He made a short based on the feature. The short went to Sundance. It won the grand jury prize for shorts, and then he turned around and made the feature. And now that's on an Oscar shortlist, and it's out in the theaters. Whiplash. You've heard of Whiplash? It's out in theaters now. That went the exact same path that you're talking about. Advice for making a killer short film, super low budget. Write the hell out of your screenplay. Don't be in a hurry to shoot. Be in a hurry and work hard on your script until everybody around you thinks that the script is amazing. Dog Bowl took me about a year to actually be happy with the script. I was starting to cast and everything, but it was all the way until a year until I actually finished the end and to my satisfaction. So the script is really the key to Dog Bowl's success, is that I spent so much time on the script, working on the script. So, no, I did not know how it would end when you started to write. I had no idea where Dog Bowl was going. I just started writing some pages and letting the thing, and I kept asking people and showing people, and I had like a fake ending and a bad ending, and then it was like, well, maybe this could happen and this could happen, and I kept asking those questions. How did you go about casting the dogs? I actually picked a company called Pause for Effect. There's probably about 60 different animal acting companies in LA. There's a lot of them. And I just happened to look at that name and I called them, and it was right around Christmas time, and they responded to me. And I went up with Marcy, and we went up and met the dog trainer, and we ended up using several dogs for the movie. It ended up being part of the reason why it was, we got a really good deal, but it was still expensive to have professional dogs. But if you're ever going to use dogs or cats in a movie, you can use, a family cat or dog or something, but if they have to play any kind of a part in the movie, with Dog Bowl, you really needed a professional. It would have been no way it would have worked if we did not have a trained actor in the dog. I shot it on an Arri Alexa. I think food is critical. Who catered? Well, it was a short, so we did not. One of the places that we ate at, where we shot at, was called Uncle Andre's. And Uncle Andre's barbecue in Studio City is so good, and everyone loves Uncle Andre's. So that was special. I think we had some Chinese one night, and that kind of thing. I mean, they just went out and found deals, the producer, but we did eat Uncle Andre's. But the food is critical. We definitely made sure that we had good food. It was a commercial crew, a high-end commercial crew, and there was no way we could give them crap. I mean, it wasn't like we went crazy, but the food was decent, because we knew that we couldn't. I came up with the idea for the story for Dog Bowl. I was with my niece out in Malibu and went to a Mexican. It wasn't Mexican. It was like a fish house, like on the beach. And there was a huge line, and there was some woman who had a little tiny service dog in her vest, and she kind of budged a little bit in line, or cut in line a little bit. And I was sort of blind. I observed how people with service dogs, they sometimes have this like a little bit of an attitude or something, or maybe we just think they do. But I thought, it just popped in my head. I said, what about, that would make a good short if a girl stole the vest off of a service dog. And that was like the idea, and that idea became, now I'm going to Sundance. So what can you tell us about the story of the film without giving all the cookies away? Well, that's basically what it is. It's really about a lost, troubled soul of a young woman who is bouncing around her life and sort of clearly confused and disconnected. And then she impulsively steals a vest off of a service dog. And after she steals it, it sort of shoots her down a rabbit hole in which she ultimately finds out this revelation and about who she is as a person and her identity. And so it's a nice little journey, but it's a very, very weird journey. So, but that's pretty much the movie. You'll find that that's pretty much a good description of the movie. Sorry you came in so early, Mars, but I thought it was good for you to come. And getting a little bit of the hang of it. Yeah, I always like to bring people in a little bit early, and then then they're not so like, what is that? Are you having auditions for the movie, or did you have your full cast? No, I had auditions. I auditioned Marcy Miller. I auditioned everybody. There was a couple people in the movie. Well, there's only really one, I think, that I actually gave the part to. There's only like 2 lines. Every other part of the movie is very short, not a lot of lines. So I had one part that I gave to an actor that I worked with. I don't know if you guys have seen my. I have a short up on Funny or Die called Halloween Judge, and the guy who's the lead in Halloween Judge was a guy that I cast in Dog Bowl without auditioning. So he actually came in and read, didn't he? Mm-hmm. He read just to make sure that it was like totally like, okay. But he was pretty much in. He did have to read. I guess it was sort of a semi-audition, but he was pretty much, he had the fast track. But everybody else was auditioned, and it was a lot of work. I mean, we met a lot of people. We were casting in one part that we ended up cutting from the movie. And I probably spent like, I don't know how much time I spent on trying to cast that girl for that part, and we ended up cutting the part from the movie. It was crazy. How long was it in your mind before you started writing? I think it was just like a couple of months. It was a couple no, it was like about 6 months and I started writing it. But then that was August of 2012 when I started to really work on it. And or no, I actually wrote a little bit on it earlier, but August 2012 was when I started to actually try and write it. And then it was November. We shot in January 2014, so earlier this year. So it took about a year of development and casting, and because it's not a tiny movie. There's 14 actors in Dog Bowl, 14 human actors in Dog Bowl, and then there's more dog actors. So what's her sign? Okay, that's not good. Did you hire a casting director? No, we didn't have the money for that. We did send out, we did contact some agents directly to sort of give them their suggestions. But generally, I went through breakdown services, and through breakdown, I was able to look at a lot of acting reels. Most people have reels, and I was able to meet people, headshots, resumes, and yeah, we did a lot of that on our own, and it was good. It was a good experience, you know. I mean, I've cast a lot before in other projects, so I had some, you know, my own way of doing things in terms of how I wanted to meet people. So it was a lot of work, but we didn't have anybody to help us cut out some of that. So it took me about how long to write Dog Bowl? Like I said, August 2012 was when I really was like, okay, I got to start working on this. And I was actually in Australia, and I was up on Bondi Beach. It was winter time. It was August, and I was at a coffee house, and I was trying to break my I was trying to stay awake long enough to I was trying to break my jet lag. And so I was in this coffee house, this really cool little coffee house, and I'm working on Dog Bowl. And the first Kickstarter was underway. So I was like thinking I was going to shoot it in October, and ended up shooting it a year later. Because I got so much money that I felt like I really wanted to make it good. So it was like, okay, this is not a goofy little Funny or Die thing. This is something that's stronger. So August of 2012, I'm in this coffee house in Bondi Beach, and I didn't have a name for the dog, and I named the dog Bondi. So when you see the short Dog Bowl, and she talks to her dog, or her dog's name comes up, that's why. It was because I was in Bondi Beach and I was writing Dog Bowl. That's why the dog's name is like that. Is Dog Bowl a short or a feature? It's a short. It's 19 minutes long. It's too long for Cannes. You can't submit it to anything to Cannes over 15 minutes, including credits. 15 minutes is the max, and I was always trying to make Dog Bowl to be under 15 minutes so I could submit it to Cannes, but it was impossible. By the time it was done, it's only like a 13, 14 page short, 14-page script, but the scenes are so action. There's a lot of action, and it just ran long. And so it's only 19 minutes, but fortunately most other festivals accept shorts longer than, but Cannes didn't. So Cannes Critics Week does, so I might submit it there. We're waiting to hear from Berlin. We submitted to the Berlin Festival, and Berlin, what do they call that? Berlinale. Oh, Berlin. I've been to the Berlin. It's so awesome. I hope I get in. I really want to go there. It's a great festival. It would be so exciting to go to Berlin with Dog Bowl. So stay tuned. We should know that pretty soon. Yeah, you can ask any questions. I'm thinking about coming to Philadelphia. I haven't been to Philadelphia in a while. I will be in Atlanta the week around the 4th of July. So it won't be the 4th of July weekend, so don't worry. But it will be the weekend before or the weekend after, okay? Philadelphia, yes. I definitely want, I want to go to Philly. I think I'm going to go to Philly. I'm going to go to New York and maybe Philly. I haven't been to Washington, D.C. for a couple years. I used to go there a lot. I haven't been there for a little while. So I've got to do a little Eastern Quarter thing. I always think about Boston too. So we're working on that right now. We want to come. Yes, I'm gonna come to see. No, Biennale is in Vienna. That's different. Berlinale is what I was talking about. Seattle, yes, I'm going to come to Seattle too. That's another thing that's on the radar because I'm going to in the fall in September I'm going to go to like maybe Seattle and Vancouver. That's what I'm thinking about. Something Seattle, Vancouver, something like that. So because I've never been to Vancouver and there's a lot of people in Vancouver and I haven't been to Seattle in a while and I always it's time to go to some places I haven't been to in a while. But I'm going to go back to New Orleans next year and always we go to Austin, San Francisco. We always go to Austin, San Francisco, New York, the Denver, the usual places that Dog Bowl or BlueCat goes to. Yeah, we're going to go to Vancouver because I'm going to do something in Canada. So I'm going to do Vancouver and I'm going to do Seattle. Vancouver, Seattle, Atlanta. Those are pretty much going to happen. Yeah, we're coming to Vancouver. First time ever BlueCat in Vancouver, but Vancouver's going to happen, you guys. So we're going to figure that. If you guys know of a place in Vancouver for a workshop, will you email us and tell us? Because we need some help finding a place so we can book that workshop. So if you have any ideas, go ahead.
What's the email address?
The email address is info@. Just go to our website. You can look at our contact us, and we will find the email. Info@BlueCat Screenplay. Okay. Very good. So, Century, do you have any more questions for me? I've burned through all of those.
Yes.
And you're I'll just go, absolutely, yes. Please help me with Vancouver. Please help me with Philadelphia. If you have any place in Philadelphia, I would definitely, I could maybe do Winnipeg. I don't know how far. The Cleveland Film Festival is a possibility because I'm actually going to we're going to go to Columbus. And I'm going to talk to the guy who runs the Ohio Film Commission. I'm going to maybe meet with him at Sundance, and we're going to talk. And I want to go to Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus and do sort of an Ohio triangulation, little Indianapolis vibe, maybe something like that. So, I will be in New Orleans. I don't know about New Orleans, when I'm going to be in New Orleans or Austin. Austin's probably going to be in March. Though a lot of these dates we're going to try and get these out in the next 30 days. By January 15th, we'll have a lot of our stuff going. My plans at Sundance will include going to a lot of movies because as a short film, we are, please send me these venues in Vancouver. As a short film, you don't have to do a press junket and you're not worried about people buying your film all the time. If you have a feature there, you're like obsessed with distribution and you're doing press and you're just, there's a whole different experience. But as a short, I get to go to like the panels and some parties and just go and see movies. I'm going to go up there with my mom. And so my mom's a big cinephile, so we're going to see a lot of movies up there. Century wants to go to Sundance.
I do want to go. I've always wanted to.
Yeah, so Century might be going with us. I don't know. We might have a whole entourage of people.
Crew, the BlueCat crew.
Yeah, we gotta have a bunch of people up there.
Represent.
Yeah, you gotta have people. We gotta have an entourage. And Century is my Ustream assistant, so we totally have to have her up there if we're doing a Sundance Ustream, right?
Yeah,
totally. Okay. So we're going to go about 15 more minutes. We're going to take a 10-minute break at that time, and then we're going to come back with Marcy Miller, just for anybody who's joining us or is just thinking about their time frame. We're going to have Marcy Miller come back, and then and she's going to talk, and then we're going to just keep answering questions and everything else all the way up until 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, LA time, and we'll take a break at 8 o'clock for 10 minutes and 9 o'clock for 10 minutes. And a short is, how long is a short? Well, a short could be like 30 seconds long, up to like 50 minutes. So, that might Well, if you have a film festival in your basement, we would probably go. So just don't worry about it. Just send us your info. We'll send you a screener, and you can let us know if you accept us in your shed. You shouldn't remove the shag carpet. You could call it the Shag Carpet Film Festival. All right. As a director, do you allow your actors to add to the script and ad libs, or since you're the screenwriter, do you like them to stick close to the script? I personally write with table readings and develop the scripts through table readings. So often the actors are sort of helping me shape the script as I go. Like Marcy really helped me read the pages all the time. She was always reading the pages with me. So the words that were in her mouth, we found out what could work. But I'm not a big like, oh, let's make up the script because you know what, that sucks. It's like, it's just, whatever. It's like the writer's there to help create the story. Yes, there can be things that can happen, but in Dog Bowl we didn't ad lib or anything. It was all written, but we had developed it with everybody. So the actors had been reading it and they'd been there. And so it wasn't like they didn't have a say. If they were having a struggle with a line, I was like, oh, I'll fix that. We can fix that. But when we got to shooting, the script was the script. So, are you looking to direct some of the BlueCat feature entries in the future? We're not. I'm looking to maybe help people find production of their scripts. But I have so many scripts already that I've written and that I want to write. And I'm a storyteller, so I think it's probably. I want to write, direct the things that I write. Yes, I do have a feature in the works. I have a couple different things that I'm doing. One is about Christmas shopping, and another one is about a sort of a fairy tale about a girl looking for her husband. And and I have a couple other things, but yeah, that's the next thing is a feature. How can I get a movie into Sundance? Is it a simple process, or do I have to win several smaller film festivals first? Well, most festivals and larger festivals specifically want a world premiere. They have a sort of an unwritten contract with their audience that when they come to a festival, they're like, this is something I've never seen before and no one's seen before. So every feature that has been submitted to Sundance is a world premiere. And I think that the shorts are not under that same parameters, but it is pretty, like Berlin, like for example, the Berlin Film Festival only accepts, if you've screened your movie outside of your country, they don't accept it. Like if I had already screened Dog Bowl in England, it would be ineligible. So, but you don't have to worry about winning other festivals. You just have to worry about making a great short. And the thing that I learned from the programmers that I met the other night they were they impressed on something that was original and different. And you have to tell a great story that's very emotionally compelling and funny and all the things that have to happen, but also do something that's different, that has a different spirit to it, that's fresh and original. And I think that that's something that, it sounds like, of course, but that's really what I got, is that's the reason why Dog Bowl got into Sundance, was that it just distinguished itself in its unique spirit, and the quality and the twists and turns it took were different. So I knew that going in, sort of like that's how you have to write every movie. You want to write it so that it is different. And Dog Bowl just, it's just a different movie. And it took really different turns. And those were the things that really Sundance fell in love with it. So you have to make a strong story that's emotionally compelling, but it has to be unique and different and very highly original. I think that's with Sundance. They received so many short submissions. They received over 8,000 submissions, and they received strong stories, but they're too similar to something that they maybe have already seen in the past. So. At what point should a screenwriter director move to LA? You don't necessarily have to move to LA. I wouldn't worry about moving to LA if you want to keep working where you are. You can develop yourself right where you are as a writer. So just don't worry about that. I mean, I think when you can come to LA and there's a lot more opportunities. I mean, she's working on the Warner Brothers set, Warner Brothers studio lot, you know, as a tour guide, and Century wouldn't be able to do that in Louisville, Kentucky. She would be able to work on her projects, maybe act in plays, act in short films, but by being in LA, she has, you know, she's going to meet a lot more people. And so there is some advantages, obviously. The film and television industry is in Los Angeles, so you can't really get around that. But as a filmmaker, you don't have to be from Los Angeles. You can develop yourself. You don't need to live in LA to write mediocre screenplays. You know what I mean? You can write wherever you are and develop yourself wherever you are. And a lot of people think they get to LA and the light bulbs are going, you know, the lights, lights are going to turn on. But if you're still working on yourself as a writer, you're still going to be working on yourself as a writer in Los Angeles. So you can still do that wherever you are. Why didn't you put yourself in it? I never thought about that because, you know what, it's so, I don't think I'm very good. I'm not that polished as an actor, and I really wanted to have very seasoned, like, professional people that I could rely on. And I knew I would have too much to think about, and then I would go in there and just totally stink up the joint because I wouldn't be professional. I would be an amateur actor, and I would have fun, and it might be funny, and it might be interesting, or, oh, he's talented, or whatever, but not like on the level of the people that I had. I mean, one of the actors, Gerald Prescott, who plays a character in Dog Bowl, she was a character on The Walking Dead for several. Everybody recognizes her from The Walking Dead. I have another guy who was in the movie he had 2 lines in the movie. This guy has been on The Wire. He's been on 50 different television shows. Okay. So I had one of the guys, he graduated from Yale. Okay, these people needed to come in and they needed to just be like spot on, super professional, and do what they needed to do and do it now and on the spot. And that's what I needed. And I would never have been able to deliver that because I'm an amateur actor. No, the rates were for the dogs were cut. Because they gave us a deal. They didn't give them to us for free, but they gave us an incredibly low discount compared to what they charge Modern Family or a movie or any of the studios. The studio rates are much higher than they gave us. They gave us a really nice deal, but it was still expensive. It was like the amount of money that we spent on the dogs, you could make a short film with. You probably could make a pretty decent little short film with the amount of money that we spent just on the dogs and Dog Bowl. But that's just how Dog Bowl is. Dog Bowl is a little bit bigger scope. Dog Bowl, how long was the shoot? Is 3 days. 3 very long days, like 14, 15-hour days. How did you originally meet the actor that you cast immediately at a reading? I met Chet Dixon through friends. Chet Dixon, you know, there's a movie, there's a commercial called DirecTV. DirecTV has a commercial called Wig Shop where a guy's like goes to Vegas and he has his hair cut off and stuff. It's a very popular commercial, and I saw that commercial and I happened to know him through mutual friends, and I was like, man, I love that commercial. And then I realized he was an actor, and then I said, hey, you know, and we made Halloween Judge, and he was so good in Halloween Judge, so poised, very professional. He's a really good actor. And I was like, okay, this is the guy. So that's how I met him. And then he did a number of readings with me too. And I knew that he was very good. Well, I was sharing with the kids, what are some of your early recollections of things you wrote when you were a kid? Well, I shared today a short story that I wrote in 2nd grade called 3 Miles from Nillipoo. And all the kids loved that today. I told that story. But that was one of my first memories, was writing a story and feeling really like empowered and inspired because I could make up anything. It was so fun to just make up anything. And I always try to remember that when I'm working on a script. It's like, you can just do anything, man. Just write anything you want. Do you want to make it into a feature? I don't. Dog Bowl could easily be made into a feature, but it's so awesome as a short, and I would never want to do it again. As a feature, it would never be as good as the short. It's like it lives as a short, and I feel like the story of the main character's been told, and I don't really want to retell it. I just feel like it's just perfect the way it is, and it could totally be developed. And if somebody came to me and said, I'll give you $1 million cash to make Dog Bowl in a feature, I would say no. I would, because if somebody's going to do that, then they're probably going to give me $1 million to do something else. But I would not do Dog Bowl as a feature because the short is too cool. It's too awesome. You would never want to do it again because you knew you would screw it up. Did all your traveling slow you down? Well, my traveling is with my job and my teaching enriches me as an artist, and so it always gives me something. But it's my day job, teaching is, while I was making Dog Bowl, you're not really making any money from the short film. So teaching is a way that I can support my filmmaking, but I love teaching. I'll never stop teaching. So I did not know, I did not know, how did you find your director of photography? Did you already know Christian? I didn't. What I did was I had somebody in the office. I basically contacted what I did was this. I went on IMDb and I went to the top 20 movies, like Avengers and all these movies. And I was like, what are the agents of the people that made those movies? And so then we came up with all the list of all the agents for people that made those movies. And I was like, and I sent them all the script and a pitch letter. And I said, I'm looking for a DP. And within those agencies, they had represented a lot of people. So they went, and so I had like 11 different people that wanted to meet me and wanted to shoot it. And they knew it was like not going to pay as much, but they were mostly people that had done not many features, but mostly commercials and stuff, music videos. And they wanted to do this. And so I met with 11 DPs and I interviewed them. I met with them for an hour each and that's how I met Christian. And it ended up being great. He's like awesome. You know what? We're on one more question and we'll go to a break, everybody. Did you find that choosing the right lead actor is 90% of making a successful film? Well, that's what Woody Allen says, and a lot of other people say that too, and casting is so huge. I mean, Akira Kurosawa, Fellini, John Ford, Coppola, Scorsese, all these guys, casting. It's like Kurosawa, Fellini, Fellini spent so much time casting because you get the right people and you're like, you are so close. And you'll see when we'll bring back Marcy Miller after the break and you can meet her because she is the reason why Dog Bowl went to Sundance. If we had a different actor, it probably never would have worked because it's a very challenging story. And she's brilliant. She's going to be a star, and you're going to be able to say that you saw Marcy Miller on a Ustream at one later on. So Casting By is a great doc. So I don't have an agent, but I have an attorney. But you know what? We're gonna look at more questions. But we're gonna bring back Marcy Miller. You're gonna meet Marcy Miller, and you're gonna know when you meet her, when you start talking to her, you're gonna be like, oh my God, this girl's gonna be famous. And when you see her in Dog Bowl, you'll know why. So, and she'll tell you about her coming to LA and her experiences with casting and actors and anything you want to ask her. So think about your questions on the break. And we will come back. I was at William Morris a long time ago when it wasn't William Morris Endeavor. I was in William Morris right after Love Liza for a few years. And I still know the guys that represented me, and I know the assistant to the agent, Rob Carlson, that I had. That assistant, Micah Sola, is now one of the biggest literary agents in Hollywood. And he was his assistant. And he was still, I haven't talked to him in years, but I know all those guys. So, okay, we'll be back in 10 minutes, everybody. We're going to take a little commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll be with Marcy Miller, okay, the star of Dog Bowl. Okay, really, really fun. So I'm not sure, how do we do this? We pause it, or I know we don't. I know there's like we go mute it. We mute it, I think. We'll go off. There we go. Audio only, and now what? No. No.
This is hilarious.
We're audio. We're audio only. Hello, sorry, we're back. Thank you for giving me a little break so I could... Century had to leave. I mean, are you crazy? That's just a nightmare. Century left, you guys. She's going to be back. She might come to... where are the Wheaties? Oh, my God. We love you. They're right there. We used the Wheaties last time, remember? Yeah. We are back. Can you... Century had to leave because she had to go home. Because she's got to get up for her job, and she has to buy a space heater. It's very cold in LA. It's like 50 degrees, so we're freezing here. It's winter time, and we're very cold. And so she had to split, but she's going to be back. Sorry, she didn't tell me she was leaving until the break. But so anyways, well, here we go. We're going to bring in Marcy Miller right now. Marcy is the star of Dog Bowl. If you've probably seen the trailer now. You've seen some pictures in the BlueCat. You've seen the website, Marcy Miller. Her website's marcymiller.com if you want to read more about her. She is the star of Dog Bowl. Let me tell you a story. I went to Sundance, the Sundance reception last Wednesday. It's for all the filmmakers. It's the day after they announced the final results. So everybody knows who's in. And they have a reception at a restaurant in West Hollywood. I walk in at 6 o'clock. And I go, I walk over to the director of programming, Trevor Groth. Trevor Groth is the director of programming at Sundance, the Sundance Film Festival. He's number 2, really number 2 in the hierarchy there. And I go over, and he knows me from Love Liza, and I went over and introduced myself again, and he was like happy to see me, and we talked. And then he introduced me to the head of the festival, the director of the Sundance Film Festival, John Cooper. And I went to John Cooper and I said, he said, oh, what did you, I said, Dog Bowl. And he says, oh, Dog Bowl, I've seen Dog Bowl. And he says, I don't really know if I understand it yet. He was like, he was giggling, but he liked it. But he meant he'd already seen Dog Bowl. And he said, who's the girl in it? She's so good. And I was like, oh, that's Marcy Miller. And she goes, where did you find her? So the director of the Sundance Film Festival is already interested and had Marcy Miller on the brain. And when she came to the party, I walked her right over. She walked in, and I walked her right over to the director of the Sundance Film Festival and said, here's Marcy Miller. And he said, wow, we need to get you some more work, because he really loved her. Tell you one other quick story. I sent the film before we were into Sundance, and we were still trying to get Sundance to make sure they watched it. And I sent it to Bennett Miller. Bennett Miller directed Moneyball and Capote, which my brother was in, obviously. And then he also directed Foxcatcher, which is out in theaters now. Bennett Miller. Great director. He's been nominated. He's probably going to be nominated again. He won the Best Director at Cannes. He watched Dog Bowl. He loved Dog Bowl. But he, again, was like, who is that girl? And he said he Googled her, trying to find out who she was, and looked her up and was already doing research on her because he was so impressed with her. So that's sort of the early reviews of Marcy Miller, and you are going to meet Marcy Miller right now. So let's bring in Marcy Miller. She's going to come over here and slide into the camera. Oh my gosh, look at her, right? Marcy Miller, there she is.
Hi.
Yeah, there she is.
Guys.
She's
How
cool,
are you?
right?
Yeah.
Everybody say hi to Marcy.
Hi.
And so she's going to tell us a little bit about where she's from, and this is really I always end up looking up there, and that's nice. So Marcy, you can where are you from?
I grew up in North Liberty, Indiana. It's this really tiny little town, like 1,500 people tiny. Like everybody's got craft stores, and I worked at a little cafe, and you have to drive like 45 minutes to go to the grocery store. So
oh my God!
Yeah.
How far away is it from like Indianapolis?
Like 2 hours.
It's right on the border, right?
Yeah. It's really close to the Indiana-Michigan border, so it's like 3 miles and you're in Michigan.
Shouldn't she look? She looks. You gotta get closer to it. You gotta get out there so people can see you.
What's up? Hey, hi.
Okay, so you so what happened? You got out of high school. Were you ever thinking about acting when you were in high school?
Not. I mean, pursuing it as a vocation, no. It was a very conservative, like, small town upbringing, and I guess it kind of never really dawned on me that was something that I could pursue as a career or anything like that. But I always did shows. I don't know why it didn't occur to me, because I kind of, like, always played the piano and always sang and always did shows and things like that. It was kind of like what I was known for doing, but was a very kind of responsible, like, rational kid. So I decided I was going to be a nurse.
So you were going to be a nurse,
Yeah.
but your whole family was nurses.
Yeah.
You came from a whole family of nurses.
Kinda, yeah.
So you had this sort of artistic thing, but you were like,
Yeah.
that's not really practical or serious.
Right.
I've got to really come up with a life plan here.
Yeah.
And so I'll be like I'll go to nursing like my family has.
Yeah.
So what happened? You went to nursing school. Where'd you go to school?
I went to Bethel College. It's a small private liberal arts school in Indiana. And I started... I went and I sat down with my advisor, and I didn't pick any classes that had anything to do with nursing. I had, like, intro to nursing, and that was it. Everything else was, like, gen eds, and then I had some, like, music courses and things like that. I did a lot of music theory. And so I did that for the first semester. I did it again for the second semester. And so then when I was a sophomore, I came back, and I had a voice teacher. I was pursuing a lot of music at the time, and my voice teacher kind of just sat me down and just got real with me and said, like, look, you're never going to graduate. If you're, like, seriously going to be a nursing major, I mean, you got to, like, either start taking some nursing classes, or you need to, like, make a change. And so for the first time, I really considered, okay, what do I want to do? What sounds like fun to me? And the fact that he was bringing it up, and I felt like he was somebody that was very talented and believed in me. And that sort of reassurance felt very good. And for the first time, it was kind of like, okay, I think, who gives a care? I'm just going to do it. And so I did. So I did. I switched.
So you switched over, and what did your family say about that?
Oh, gosh, my mom's awesome. My mom's never, I mean, my mom would have let me do anything. I mean, growing up, we would, like, I remember we would have days where we didn't have, like, electricity or like, the heat would be out because of paying the bills, but we'd have season tickets to the theater. So it was
okay. So she was always...
she was awesome. I did everything in school. Like, if I wanted to do it, like, there was a way that it was going to happen.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
so she's supportive.
Awesome. Oh, my gosh. She would have let me do anything.
Yeah. So you're going through, so you graduated in, what was your degree in?
Vocal performance is
vocal
what my
performance.
degree is.
Okay, so what happened right after college?
I moved to Louisville, Kentucky. And
why Louisville, Kentucky?
Oh, I met a fella, and he had a job there.
Oh, he got a job in Louisville.
He had a job in Louisville.
So your husband?
Yeah, he's my husband now.
Yeah.
But
she has a lovely husband.
Yeah,
he's very cool. So they met at Bethel.
Yep.
Right, and he had a job in Louisville, so you followed him there.
Yep.
Were you guys already married?
No, we got married in Louisville. Like, I had been down there for 6 months or something.
Okay,
like
great.
Yeah.
So you went down there.
Yep. And I jumped into the theater scene there, which Louisville, it was funny that you mentioned Louisville, Kentucky, because they've got a pretty cool, like, theater scene there. The Humana Festival and everything is there. There's a lot of good stuff that goes on. And so I did some work there and at a resort and at a few different theaters. And some guy that I waited tables with kind of said, hey, you know, I think you're really good. You know, he came and saw my show. I think you should really think about moving to LA. And he had grown up in LA. He was actually, his name is John Lee Cope, and I always remember that name. Anytime anything cool happens, I remember when I got Dogville and Sundance, and when I met Meryl Streep at the thing, I would text him every so often. I'd say, like, John Lee, like, this just happened, or whatever. He always gets so really excited about it.
Wow, that's cool.
He's awesome. He's the whole, I mean, I would have never...
He really encouraged you to move to Los Angeles.
Definitely.
So what was the thinking like, you know, how did that happen? You were like, are you crazy?
Kind of, because I just, even then, it's interesting for me to look back now and see how much the power of suggestion has completely altered my life. Because I mean, I thought I was going to be a nurse, and then I had this teacher that spoke into my life and said like, oh, you should do this thing, and then I was completely content doing this theater like thing and kind of waiting tables to supplement an income. I mean, I was making no money hardly in Louisville. And then this guy came and recommended that I go there, and so I just kind of did it, you know.
What did Ryan? I mean, how did your husband react, or what was the plan? What did you guys say? Like, did you say like, I'm going to go to LA for 2 years and see if it works, or what was it?
We didn't really put a boundary on it. I mean, we had thought about moving somewhere anyway, and my husband's a very kind of spontaneous type of personality anyway, so he's pretty cool with it, and so we went camping, and we went on this like hike. We were with another couple, and we went on this like 2-hour hike, and we kind of just hashed it out, and he was very open to it from the beginning, you know, and he's always been, I think he's always kind of believed that I could do this thing way more than I could. I mean, even our budget is very has always been very regimented, especially in Louisville. So we have these little envelopes, and one of the envelopes, I remember even when we live in Louisville, it says Marcy's Star Fund on it, and so he would put like money in it every month so that I could like go to class or like to move or like whatever. It was.
Cool.
So he's always been just
yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
So you just were like, okay, we're gonna go to LA. So when you got to LA, what did you do? You're an actress. You come to LA.
Yeah.
Like 1 million people for the last 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, the whole city is founded and developed from people moving here, just like yourself.
Yeah.
What did you do? What was your plan?
I wanted to get into class. I was really scared to jump in and start auditioning right away just because I didn't want to come off super green and like I didn't know what I was doing. The industry here is very different than the industry that I had been accustomed to. And,
what's the difference?
I mean, it was just a lot of kind of technical stuff, even just not coming in being like kind of dorky theater girl and like coming in and being poised to do things for film and knowing who people were and not being just intimidated by that and just feeling comfortable in my own skin in that city.
Right.
I kind of knew myself and knew that it was going to take me a minute to kind of feel good. So I wanted to get into class. And so I did that immediately. And there's a guy named William Maypother who, you guys, I don't know if you know who he is. He's in Lost. He's Tom Cruise's cousin, but he was in a show in Louisville, and the theater was down the street from the restaurant that I was waiting tables at. So he would kind of come in there every so often and eat lunch. And I didn't really know him that well. He kind of did his own thing. But before I moved to LA, I knew he lived out here, and so I Facebooked him and said like, hey, where'd you go to class? Blah, 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 whatever. And he totally got back with me right away. William Maypother, he's like one of the other greatest dudes that I've met out here.
Cool.
And so he told me where to go, and I came out here. It was a Joanne Baron, D.W. Brown studio. And I jumped in there like a month after I moved here, and
so that was awesome. Like a year program.
It was a 2-year program. Yeah.
And how was that?
It was great. It was exactly what I needed. And their program is, they're pretty strict and regimented, and I needed that. I mean, that just felt good to have that structure and have, you know, demands that were going to make me get things done that I needed to get done. And the program's awesome. I mean, it's based on Meisner, so everything, the whole first year is about falling into the comfort of yourself. So it's all improvised material, and you learn to come to your kind of own opinions and ideas of about things that I had never thought about, like just emotionally and who I was as a person. I mean, I've grown up kind of always feeling like I was a very masculine type personality in the way that I dealt with my emotions, and that was kind of just a defense like wall mechanism I think that I kind of put up for myself. It wasn't until I moved to LA and was in that class that I realized that actually pretty sensitive type of person, and realizing that was very comforting and helped me a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, it was really awesome, and the teachers there were great. I love Tom Patton, Sharon Hogg. They'll probably never see this, but they're awesome.
So what? So after you got out of school, you were still waiting tables. How did you come to Dog Bowl? Like, tell us the story about how you came to Dog Bowl, and you had shot some other things, some other small things. What was the story? What was that first year or whatever?
Sure. Well, the school is pretty adamant that you're not spending so much time auditioning while you're in the program, so I didn't. And so then once I was done with school, I kind of jumped in, and I had a few auditions, a lot of things through Breakdown Services. It's like where I found out about Dog Bowl. And I did a couple indie film feature things and a couple little short projects, and then I remember it was kind of dry for a while. Like I didn't have anything, and I was kind of feeling bummed about it, and so I was kind of looking through, and because I remember the initial breakdown on the Actors Access said that it required nudity. Said that the role required nudity.
I know. I had a producer that was helping me at one point, and she listed the casting and she put in partial nudity, and I was like, oh my god, because there's not really nudity. There's like a implied sense that but it's not nudity, and I was like, oh my god, you just drove away hundreds of actresses because who wants to be nude who's going to be nude in a short? Well, Marcy Miller was so fortunately, I mean, I can't really blame her because I ended up finding Marcy. I'm very lucky, but there was some hesitancy because it suggested there's no nudity. There's no any nudity in.
No, there's not really.
No,
originally, the script had the scene where she like walked out.
There was nudity. There was nudity at one point, but then we ended up getting rid of it.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, whatever. There's no nudity, but there's definitely some suggestion of something. Anyway, so you submitted to Dog Bowl anyways.
Yeah, I was kind of just like bummed, and I was like, oh, it's because forget it, like I'm just gonna do it anyway. I don't care. And so I submitted to it, and then you just called me in. I mean, I didn't read anything, or I forget how it went. If I had to submit a video first, or I think I just.
You sent a reel in, and then you came in and met me.
Yeah.
We had meetings, and then I gave you this whole script to read, and you read it out in the hallway.
Yeah, and I remember I could barely even I think I was just kind of nervous, and I remember thinking like I don't even think I really know what it's about because it's kind of the way it's all the story is just interesting anyway.
But she's an actress, so she's just like, oh, I'll do it, So yeah, the dog is nude. You're right. The dog is nude. There's a nude dog in it. Yeah. So she read the script, and then we only had like 3 or 4 actresses that were sort of going on tape because Marcy's reel was so strong, and I just totally was like, oh man, this woman is so talented. And she was always sort of our number one, and then we had a couple other people. You gotta realize it's like we usually have like 50 people that we think might be able to do it. And to have it be so narrowed down because we were just so taken with her reel. If you go to her website, marcymiller.com, you can see some of her reels and some of the things you can see. But I was like, wow, and so then you put a scene on tape, and that scene on tape was really good. And then beyond that, we had you. What was the next step after that? We had you do another scene on tape, maybe.
I did two tapes. I sent in 2 tapes, and then had the meeting with you, and then I think we had another meeting after that, and I think that was it. That was it because I think I still actually have the 2 audition tapes.
And so, what was it like? So we went through when we were casting the other actors. You were always in the room with the other people that you had to work with, and what was that like? Because it was nice to have the actor help us, realize who you were connected with, and you read with Rodney Hobbs and Gerald Prescott and Tomas Oscar Andrin and several people to see how. So when you're doing that, what do you see like from the other actor, or how does that help you? I mean, do you feel like that? I mean, what was that process like?
I mean, technically, it was just really interesting for me because I've never been on that side of casting anything. So it was really interesting for me to see people come in and how different the readings could be with all of these different people was really fascinating. But I loved it, honestly. I really loved it. I loved standing there and getting to be with this person, not kind of knowing what direction we were going to go, but it was surprisingly kind of obvious. In a lot of cases, I think you would probably agree, when the right person was there, and I wondered, like, what is it about this person that's like making them pop and making them be so open. But there was a different kind of comfort for me. I felt more comfortable with certain people that came in, and that was really interesting for me to understand and realize about myself.
So how like when you go out on audition, for writers on here, like what do you was Gordy nude on the set? No, because you guys, we needed to make a movie. If I was nude on the set, it would be like horrible. We wouldn't get anything done because everyone would be like running back to their cars and driving away. And like, okay, this sucks. So when you started with Dog Bowl, you were waiting tables. Tell us about like how your career has progressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard, and I mean, I always used to say, I don't care. I'll wait tables my whole life if it means I can do this thing. But after you're out here for a few years, you realize pretty quick I'm not okay with it. I don't think I want. That's not what I want anymore. I take that back.
Yeah. You don't want to wait tables.
I don't want to wait tables. I'm done.
Right.
I'm over it. But it seemed to me sometimes it seems like it's been very slow. I mean, I have like 3 features that will hopefully indie features that will hopefully come out this year, 3 or 4. But when I look at it like that, when I look at like, okay, I've gone to this 2-year program and I've gotten some great work, like I get to go to Sundance now. Things have progressed relatively quickly.
When I met you, you were waiting tables pretty much full time.
Oh yeah.
Now
I don't at all.
You don't wait at. Why is that?
I just gotten more work. I mean,
like what kind of work?
By a lot of commercials.
Okay, what commercials would people have seen you in?
This year I shot 2 for AT&T.
Are they on YouTube or anything? Or
probably should be. Yeah, it's like.
I mean, can we actually spot you in them? I've never seen any of these.
I mean, that's all. A lot of them are with this.
So does your family ever see you? Or?
Oh, they go crazy over them. They love them. Yeah. I got stopped on the street. I did a Best Buy commercial. I've been stopped on the street 1 time in my whole life. This guy said, "Are you the girl in the Best Buy commercial?"
That guy watches a lot of TV.
Seriously.
I mean, how much does anybody know? Tell them what the Best Buy commercial is, because I bet you people have seen it.
Oh gosh, it was during like back to school time, so it ran for a very short period of time. I did this. I had this little thing, and I said, these 2-in-1s have a powerful Intel processor inside, which allows them to be both a tablet and a laptop. And I flip it open, and that's it.
and that guy saw that like 50 times, and he's like, "Are you the Best Buy guy?" And it's just like, well, that's so cool. So she's been in a number of commercials, and we should probably, if we had somebody in the office, they could post some of the links for that. Yeah. But so now you're doing so many commercials, you don't even wait tables anymore.
I know, it's awesome. So it's like the greatest feeling in the world.
And you just shot another commercial last week.
I did, yeah.
What was that?
It's a Super Bowl commercial for TurboTax.
Nice.
Awesome. So
you're going to be on the Super Bowl.
I hope so. I mean, you never know, because they shoot these campaigns, and they'll cut like 3 or 4 different ones. But I've worked with this commercial director before, and
How many commercials have you done with him?
Like 5 or 6 this.
Oh,
like
cool.
5 or 6 this year.
He keeps hiring you because he knows you're awesome. You're money.
He's so great.
That's awesome.
He's been very generous, and so.
That is so cool. Yes. So a TurboTax Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
Will be Marcy's. Did John C. Reilly do the voiceover for that? That's so funny that you guys know. Yeah. So that'll be cool. Marcy's starting off. Well, the Super Bowl will be after the Sundance thing, so you'll be premiering at Sundance, and then you've got the end of Sundance. Yeah. You'll be at your Super Bowl party.
Yeah, man.
And watching your Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
What will be cooler?
Sundance.
Dog Bowl, Sundance.
Bowl. Yes, of course.
Of course you can say that. No way, man. TurboTax is cooler. No, it's but it's very fun. So you went to this party. So do you guys have any questions? about Marcy and like her, like how she reacts to scripts and stuff. You guys want to ask some of that, and but like ask away if you have any questions about. I just saw her in a commercial. Yeah, so it just
Did they say that?
can she fix my computer hard drive, Gordy? It keeps crashing. Well, I don't know. She's an actor who knows about commercials. She actually doesn't know anything about commercials. She knows about acting. Okay, top 3 favorite actresses.